And the disadvantage, of course, it is bulky. So this time, you can replace flip charts and flannel graphs with PowerPoint presentations, of course. These are the modern contemporaries of these things. Another example of spatial media, we have graphs and charts. So these are examples of reports that we have for our literacy result for the grade 7 students, where we have slow learners, the fast readers, rather the slow and fast readers, including those non readers who are typically in grade 7. We use this to show relationships and trends. However, if we have too many charts and graphs to present, it's sometimes confusing and rather than enlightening. So sometimes we use just big, bold numbers to present it. I mean, using figures that speak rather than too much lines and numbers in the graphs. Because sometimes some of the viewers are already, let's say, in their senior years, and it is difficult for them to interpret such data. So sometimes instead of using graphs and charts, we use big bold numbers and then just little captions under those. Another example of spatial media is a chalkboard and whiteboard. This is the usual in the educational setting. We use this for discussions to emphasize points. As what you can see in the picture, we have here mathematics teachers. Because these mathematics teachers really cannot survive the day without using the chalkboard to interpret a process in solving a particular problem. Okay. Temporal media. When it comes to temporal media, we have the most common example here. We have the radios and audio cassettes. As what you can see in the video at the lower part, this is an example of a little video from the division of Imo City and in Cavite as well, wherein they are having an example of radio based instruction, because this time during the pandemic they were able to deliver lessons using the radio format with radio based instruction. Students, especially in the ALS curriculum, were able to tune in into their radios in their phones and were able to receive instructions from their teachers. So, as what you can see from the situation, it must be tuned into and may not be readily available. And it gives a lot of planning on the end of the teachers to present their lessons in a radio based mode. It takes a lot of different form of script writing and a lot of practice as well before you go on air. And sometimes if they have to record, like what we are doing right now, if they have to record themselves, it gives them a different challenge because radio-based instruction requires a different form of skill set. All right. Aside from radio and audio cassettes, we have here spatial and temporal media, most commonly the drama. Okay, the drama videos that I am presenting right now, these are sample videos, mostly done on stage. Most of the time, the edge of a drama is that it hits the emotion factor. And because it hits the emotion factor, sometimes we have to be very careful, or shall I say, most of the time, be very careful in pre testing because since it hits the emotion factor, sometimes we can hit it negatively or positively. Sometimes it may stir a lot of cultural appropriation, relevance, and different kinds of issues. The first one is about a COVID-19 pandemic, somebody who comes from Manila and then goes home to his province where people used to be excited, but upon knowing that he's from Manila, the people stayed away from him. All right. The other one, aside from drama, we also have puppetry, which is also relevant. In this, what is the best point in puppetry is that we can deliver message through puppets. For example, we can present uh, a different character. We can present a different personality in the form of a puppet. Because if we can't ask a person to portray it in a drama, puppetry is the low cost one. Another one, it can be made with low cost materials. Because if we can't convince a particular person to present a character, we can use a puppet. And if we think it is high maintenance, we can create materials that are low cost. However, it is also time consuming in production to take into consideration that we should also present it with a well planned and crafted script, lighting, as well as direction. After puppetry, we also have demonstrations, or sometimes called as demos. These are most effective for straightforward way of teaching skills. However, as written here with the sad emoji, everything should be in mise en place. When we say mise en place, it's a French term that that means we have to present everything in place. Because it is a demo, as what you can see in both videos, these kids are demonstrating science experiments, and the other one is in TLE, wherein they should have the perfect venue at home, which is the kitchen, and then the other ones are all the ingredients that they are needing for their presentation. So if we're going to use demos in our development communication situations, we have to prepare everything. Next, examples for publications. These are classified into periodicals and non-periodicals. For periodicals, we have the newspapers, magazines, newsletters, and journals. So these four can be classified as how we just look onto them. Examples of newspaper, these could be published daily, weekly, or bi-weekly, or monthly, or in the case of a student publication, we published some bisemestral and some are annually because of the lack of funds. Another example is a magazine, and then the other one is a newsletter, and then a journal. And you can see the great difference, not because of the size, but because of the front page or the cover page. All right. The keyword here is regular or intervals. There is a regular release or intervals of release of these particular periodicals. Now let's have the non-periodicals. These are not produced regularly. These are just produced for a particular purpose. Examples are books, pamphlets, monographs, leaflets, booklets, manuals, fact sheet, and photo novels. Comparatively speaking, these items, as compared to the journal, newsletter, magazine, and newspaper, let's take a look into consideration that these should not follow a particular timeline. Okay, so the keyword here we have regular and intervals, and this one it doesn't follow a particular timeline, but rather it has a particular purpose. So aside from its purpose, I just tried to visually present these via differences by the number of pages that we have. Aside from that, we can also tell that the first one is an example of a book. However, it could be presented or it could look like not too thick. Rather, a book should have at least 49 pages, excluding the covers. And then a pamphlet, that one, as long as it doesn't reach, or at least it has 5 pages, but doesn't reach 48 pages. And then the other one is monograph. I included that number one because it has one special topic. It could be all about food, it could be all about architecture and whatever. And then the last one is a leaflet because it is presented in the most creative folding of papers. So by just looking at these four images, by covering the names, I think you can already identify which is which. All right, we have there the non periodicals and periodicals. So the ultimate question is, how do we select the right DevCom material? According to Schramm's model of selecting media, we have here the two significant factors. So these two significant factors are the instructional goals, or rather the pedagogical factor and the practical factor. Under the pedagogical factor, we have instructional goals, objectives, and instructional approach. That means all of these preparations and executions will come from the DevCom specialist. It is us. Another one, the practical factor, the resources, nature of media, and purpose. This will be manifested and the actual material that we are creating. However, after seeing Schramm's model, I have these three important questions in selecting the right DevCo material. Again, let us not forget to ask the who what and so what. So, who is our target audience? What are their age, their interest? And then the other one is what do they need to know from our media? And then lastly, the crucial one, or should I say, the make or break point, so what? So this so what could be interpreted in Filipino is as ano ngayon? So ano ngayon? So let's ask these ourselves. Why would they care to see your poster? Why would they read the pamphlets that you are creating? Why would they watch the drama or puppetry or the short video explainer that we are presenting? So let's not forget these. So these are the three questions that I can never forget in crafting this report. And I think that all encompasses the part three of development communication materials, nature, advantages, and limitations, all encompassing the communication media used in development work. After this, please don't forget to watch the next one, the advantages and limitation of certain media, to be presented by my groupmate. I'm Dominic Almirez. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.